You're not really saying that music can kill, are you?
Yes, I am.
Music can be a very powerful thing. Nothing galvanizes the emotions as quickly.
Hello, kiddies. We are going to have a real good time together. We're talking with Frank Hannon, probably best known as the guitarist from Tesla
And founder.
and founder of Tesla, co-founder. And there is much more that you will say on this subject in the interview. We're having kind of a Tesla fall, and you'll get that all in a few weeks.
Are having a Tesla fall. The band.
The band, yes, not the coil.
And the autumn
And
fall,
correct.
like a fall from,
Yes, and not the vehicle.
and not the vehicle.
Correct. But Frank has a new instrumental record out that's really nice.
Awesome.
You know, when someone is a professional guitarist, they can actually play the guitar really well.
Yeah,
Go
great.
figure.
Huh?
So how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I've been up to quite a bit.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Anything musical we need to, I don't know if you saw the Bourbon and Beyond, some of the stuff from that.
No, because it'll
Okay.
upset me because I should have been there.
That's what I thought, so I won't tell you about that. In case you're wondering, Bob Dylan was lovely.
You did tell me he was lovely.
We're recording for the show, so let's act like I didn't tell you that.
Okay, sorry. No. I said no.
This is all staying in. No, did the entire show, hood up, and was lovely. Infuriated the people in front of me. It was great. No notes. And then Willie Nelson, I was thinking about this. He's 92, so he's lost a step, literally. But seeing that guitar, seeing that guy, that face, and hearing that voice, it's not as strong as it once was, but it is still as meaningful and powerful emotionally that it ever was.
Yes, and I saw him when he was, 90, right?
Oh, so he was pretty spry. Yeah, last summer.
Was it last summer? Okay, so he's 91. I mean, he was still, it's not like he was terrible at.
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean, losing a step as Willie was not like you suck.
No, I mean, they set it all up where they kind of had a curtain that they raised, and then he was just sitting there and played. And then
he walked out on stage for us.
At the end of the show, he did get up and walk off. And, it's a little bit slower than normal or than other people in the band. But again, dude's 92. But what occurred to me.
It's great.
No, I'm not saying anything to besmirch the show, his skill as a musician, his skill as a performer. That is all still incredibly top notch.
So he made everybody so happy.
Yeah. And what hit me in the middle of the show this time was I am looking at somebody who will be on a stamp someday.
Oh, he should be, yes.
Like of that level of icon, and just he can't make anyone mad. It's like Johnny Cash, where it's just like this person is an icon above and beyond Dolly Parton, Willie, Johnny Cash. I'm not sure who else kind of like ticks all those boxes where just everyone has nothing but unconditional love for them.
Right. There are, yeah.
And I don't know why it is that they're all country musicians, what that says.
True.
But you could feel it, the just delight that everyone had to be in his presence. So I don't know what he has planned next. I think the Outlaw Tour is wrapped, but if you get the chance, go. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And if Bob Dylan is wearing a hood near you and completely hiding himself from the rest of the audience, go to that too. It's got to be, it seems like it's all like a good busy for you. like a bunch of projects coming to fruition.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, this year has, on a creative level and on many levels, been so much better than last year. Last year, 2024, my wife and I went through a lot of grieving and upheavals and painful losses in our family, and it ended up coming to a head in October when the hurricane season hit Florida. We were living out there for a couple years with my father-in-law until he passed away, and the hurricanes drove us out of there with an evacuation with horses and a trailer. We had 4 dogs, 2 cats, and 3 horses in a trailer. It was like
Wow.
Noah's Ark.
Right, that totally.
And it was such a hard time, but we got home, and then now this year has been just nonstop positive stuff based on my new album that I recorded when we got home after all of that pain and suffering. I recorded an album of music, of just guitar instrumentals, kind of as a healing process, really. Musically, I was tapping into emotions on the guitar and created this album. This one right here, it's called Reflections, and it has opened so many doors for me creatively, even like this podcast here, and things that I'm doing have come as a result of that. And at the same time, still going on tour with Tesla, which is very busy.
Oh, always. That's
Well,
that's amazing. Isn't it's I always find it so interesting. I'm sort of having a little bit of the year you had last year. I've kind of had a little bit this year, but I always feel that the brightest things, the greatest things come out of the darkest things. Creatively, emotionally, it's sort of it's so interesting to hear. And you can hear that in the instrumental, you can hear the positivity sort of coming through those songs, and the album's beautiful. It's really lovely.
Oh
And
gosh,
I'm a
thanks, Heidi.
it's awesome. It's so good.
Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, it's definitely, I ended up calling it Reflections because it's definitely a reflection of the healing that I was going through at the time.
Yeah,
And there's an expression that I heard someone say one time: you got to go through it to get to it.
it's
yeah.
true. It's so true. And it's interesting. I'm a Tesla fan. I have to admit it. So I'm gonna fangirl for 1 second. We're gonna get back to everything else. But um one, you are the co-author of, hands down, the greatest ballad of all time, which is of course Love Song. And it is, anyone can argue it. No one can deny it. And you can take it up against anybody. And it is hands down the greatest love song of all time, regardless
Wow.
of the title, the greatest.
Well,
And
gosh,
I
thank you.
love I love a good ballad, and it is by far the best.
Well,
Also, when you guys perform live, there is an energy at a Tesla concert that is unlike any other band, that is so positive, that is so full of love, that goes out to the audience, that it's unreal.
well, gosh, thanks. Honestly, it's totally real. We don't run any tapes or background
No.
stuff like that, like
I
a lot of
know,
bands do.
it's incredible. I saw you guys at the soundboard at Motor City Casino, which is a tiny, beautiful little venue. And then the next time I saw you was at Arts Beats and Eats, which is an outdoor festival. And the
Yeah.
crowd was just embraced and loved, and just, I mean, it's just awesome. So
Well, I really
back to what
appreciate that. And I appreciate what you're saying. For me, I trip out that it's 40 years this year.
Mhm.
86 coming up will be our 40th anniversary of the record, our first record. But for the bass player Brian and I, we put this band together out of high school, and that's been 40 3 years ago. You know, it's crazy. I was 17 writing that song, and the other ones. I can't believe a 17-year-old kid got so lucky back then and worked. It was a lot of work. It wasn't just luck. But what's funny is we call the tour "Keeping It Real" because we are proud of the fact that we're raw and real, and just play songs from the heart. And the message of Love Song is really, it's more about a message of someone consoling somebody through a hard time.
Right.
And that's the message that Jeff Keith, our singer, has always tried to put in the lyrics for a positive, uplifting thing. So everything you're saying and feeling
Yes.
is real, and it comes from our heart. And I really appreciate you saying that, and glad to hear that you're picking up what we're putting down.
Yes. Yes. And everyone needs to go to a Tesla concert, no matter what.
You know, you were talking about the positivity and the energy that comes through the shows and the music with Tesla. I feel like you hear that so much on the single for this record, Our Father's Love,
Mhm.
that it has a bit of a, you know, there's the Winston Churchill quote that when you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah. Oh, there's
And it
another good one. Yeah.
and it just has that vibe of uh, a dogged resistance to kind of give in. And I think the way that the guitar sounds with everything, there's a driving nature to it that sort of like it the sound is mournful, yet it will continue on and keep going, which is sort of like that X and Y axis of what everyone has to go through at some point.
Yeah, it's true. And if you are so driven by your own will, which I have a bad habit of being very self-will driven, and you don't let go and go, okay, God, take over, we can run ourselves into the ground with that, you know. And so that also, that song has kind of a release of like, okay, letting go. And there's a bridge in the music of that really, in the middle of the song, where it just stops, and I'm playing these chords that are just like giving it away, kind of. And
Hmm.
that's really what I've discovered. I mean, I've been playing music my whole life, obviously, with Tesla since I was a teenager. I talked about that. But in my later years now, I'm discovering with guitar, in particularly instrumental music, is a listener like yourself or anybody can interpret it and feel it without words and lyrics dictating the story. It's the sound that the artist is creating with the guitar, and you can perceive it in those different ways, like you were just describing. You were just describing it in a way that I hadn't heard described before. So that was really cool to hear to hear that, because I've discovered with this experience of creating this music, and that song in particular is one of my favorites on the record, that you can write chords and play the guitar softly, not just on 10 the whole time, but you can play
Mm.
it with more feeling and contemplation. You can play a note, and then you can wait and let the listener take it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a trip, man. Instrumental music is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this new direction, and probably I'm going to be doing this now. Whenever I do anything outside of Tesla, it's probably going to definitely stay more instrumental, because I've tried singing, man, and I can't stand it. It sucks.
Well, and the other thing that's interesting too, I feel like that is just another tool in a musician's arsenal. The silence and the silence between notes and knowing where to put that stuff and where it goes. And then
Yeah.
to read that you recorded the take for this for Our Father's Love, just one take on your cell phone with the microphone and other stuff, but just the I guess improv the spontaneousness of it, uh,
Yeah.
just kind of following where you're feeling and where the music's taking you. Again, I feel like it's sort of is a giveaway to your overarching approach to life and outlook on things, that you can't hide it, that it just naturally comes through the music as you're playing it. Is that scary to just start the record and just start playing and kind of see where it goes?
It can be. You know, I have found that 99% of the time. Now, I will have an idea of where I want it to go, and I will experiment with one of the coolest things that have been invented for guitar players is called a looper pedal. It's a little pedal that you can step on and it'll record you, and then you step on it again and it'll play an accompaniment for you to play along with to practice. And so I will prepare a bit before I hit the record button. But then when it comes time to actually record something, I have found 99.99% of the time that the first attempt at it is the most special. First take has the most relaxed, thought out feeling to it. The performance of that. For me, 99% of the time, when I play a guitar solo, usually the first take is always the best. Maybe I'll have to go back and fix it or something, one little note or something, but I usually don't. And in fact, the song that Heidi was talking about, Love Song, the middle guitar solo in that song, we were in the studio and the producer was giving me a hard time. I was young and intimidated by this New York producer guy. And he was sitting on the couch there in the studio, and I kind of had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. And so the engineer just rolled it, and I said, okay, this is what I think I want to do. And I just burned out the solo, turned around, and the engineer had a big grin on his face because he pressed record and captured it. And we were like, all right, I was so thankful that he captured that moment where I wasn't even thinking. I was just trying to get in that producer's face with it. But I forgot where I was going with it. Oh, but the thing was with this album and what I discovered is this microphone right here is called Audigo. And Audigo is a new company that creates this little microphone that hooks up to your phone, your cell phone. And it sounds really good, records really good, and you can overdub textures. So like with Our Father's Love, I played the lead part and then I overdubbed acoustic along with that. After I did the one take of the lead, I overdub acoustic to give it a bed underneath it. But it has limits to it where you can't punch in or copy and paste or fake it and like re-record it and fix things like you can in a computer, where Pro Tools you can spend hours, and most of us have been guilty of this in modern technology, of instead of performing and capturing that first take performance, we just play it and then, okay, I'll just copy and paste it and move it around and do all this. And it takes the whole energy out of it. Hey, that coffee's kicking in, man. I'm sorry I'm so long-winded.
No, please. People don't listen to this show to hear us.
I just made a cup of coffee there. See my rooster?
Yeah, it's
I love
huge. How much of this record would you say is first takes of things?
The majority of it is first takes of what you're hearing on the guitar is first takes, or it might be second or third takes. I'll take a break. If I get stuck, I'll just take a break and then come back and do a new first take after stepping away from it. I did do a lot of preparation on the cell phone. There's a little voice memo recorder. And so for all you guitar players out there, I recommend just clicking on that voice memo thing and listening to yourself when you're writing an idea, and use that as a scratch pad. And then you can kind of develop your ideas. And then when you go to actually record something, you can get it in a first take because you've already kind of listened to a scratch version of it. But the majority of the whole record is first takes and real spontaneous. And again, like if I got stuck on it and it wasn't a first take, if I did 2 or 3 takes and I was just, I'm just not happy with it, I would just hit the delete button, step away for an hour or so, and then come back, and then boom, first take, that
Nice.
process.
Is that
That's
something,
amazing.
that kind of faith in many ways, the first idea or one of the first idea is the best? Did it take you as a songwriter? How long did it take you to trust that instinct? Because it seems like it's something you can knock out instantly and then spend years going, I don't know, can that be better? That chord change could be better, that transition to the bridge. And then, at this point in your career, you're kind of trusting, like, if it feels right, it feels right. I'm just going to do it because I think it works for the song and not overthink it.
Well, there is no set concrete way. So every song is different. And what you were just mentioning, chord changes and arrangements. Now, a lot of times we get lucky as songwriters. Now, writing a song is different. Songwriting, you can get very lucky, and like Paul McCartney did when he wrote Live and Let Die. And I read an interview where he just woke up one morning and wrote the whole song, or Band on the Run, and Paul McCartney's a naturally gifted songwriter. But maybe I think a song that he wrote like Yesterday, he probably chewed on that one for a while and came up with a bridge maybe a month later. I think the first working title was Scrambled Eggs.
Hmm.
Scrambled eggs, all I
Mhm.
want for breakfast is some scrambled eggs. And then a month later, he came up with Yesterday. So songwriting on some songs can take time and development, and you trust your instincts. Again, you were asking a question, just by listening and doing scratch versions and listening back. When we first started being taught how to write songs with Tesla back in the 80s, we had Ronnie Montrose and different people, Dwayne Hitchings. We had a manager who was really adamant about bringing experienced people in to give us lessons. And I was about 16, 17 years old at the time. And Ronnie Montrose was one of them. And Dwayne Hitchings was a songwriter. He wrote for Rod Stewart. Chaz Sanford was a songwriter who wrote for John Waite. What they would do is they would bring a ghetto blaster, cassette tape recorder into our band rehearsal, and we would be working on a song, and they would press record on the cassette recorder, and then we would take a break and we would listen to it. So, and we would all in agreement usually go, wow, this verse sounds really good, but man, that chorus needs some help. Maybe we need to change the chord on that and put a lift in it. So that process is not one take when you're writing and arranging a song. When I'm talking about one take, it's usually the performance of
Okay.
performing the song,
Gotcha.
performing the solo, performing the actual recording when the song is already drafted. And then, okay, now it's time to make a recording of it. Okay, here we go. Boom, when you're going to perform it.
So
That's
it's
when the
months and
one take
years
magic
of,
happens.
yeah, it's months and years of banging your head against the wall, writing the damn thing. And then it's the recording that's the easy part.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
But now some artists bang their head against the wall on both parts, writing and recording. Like I heard Def Leppard, it took them years to record Pyromania or something
Hmm.
like that,
Yeah.
and those songs are crafted very well, but then the recording is like produced very well. So it's all different for everybody. Remember, like different strokes, I guess, for different folks. But like Van Halen 1, those songs are great songs that they had been playing in the bars. But you can tell when you hear Van Halen 1 that they just went in the studio and one taked it, and just
Yeah.
captured lightning in a bottle
Yeah. I mean, the
quickly.
same thing with the first Beatles record. It's like we've got 12 hours. We got to make a record here.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as in writing and playing instrumental music, this is sort of a newer love for you or something you're kind of spending more time in now than you did previously?
Yes, that's correct. This is something that I stumbled on, instrumental music, most recently after coming home and just playing guitar and not wanting to try to sing. Normally, when I was writing songs with Tesla or even my previous solo albums, I was gearing it towards trying to write lyrics and tell stories with words. And this is a new discovery for me that I can make a whole album of music and every song can still be a song, but letting the guitar do the singing and giving my guitar priority. Because normally, unconsciously, I've been putting the guitar on the back seat or the back burner. And so I really just discovered my passion is guitar and the sound of the strings, and playing guitar is my number one thing that I've kind of neglected over the years because I've been too busy trying to sing or trying to play keyboards or, producing other bands. I've done a lot of that. I produced a lot of young kid bands in my hometown and spent a lot of time doing this and that, this and that. And after that hell trip coming home last year, and I got home to my guitars that had been patiently waiting for me, I decided to give guitar my number one focus.
Mm. And I have to ask, that's a SG there you're holding?
Yes, sir. This SG is on loan still. There's a great story about this SG. When we were in Florida for the past 3 years, my guitars were still home in California or on the road with Tesla, those guitars, but I didn't have a guitar to play. And I was invited to a jam and at a bar. And I asked my father-in-law, who is Dickie Betts, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. Dickie
Oh, yeah.
Betts,
Yeah.
the Rambling Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
He was sitting on the couch one morning, and I had a jam to go to that night. And there was an SG, not this one. It was in the living room, and I picked it up and started playing it. And I asked Dickie, can I borrow this SG tonight? There's a jam at the brew pub tonight, and I've been invited and I don't have a guitar. And he's staring at me and he's pointing and he's not saying a word. He's just looking at the guitar. And I'm thinking, oh man, he wants to kick my ass for even asking him if I can borrow his guitar. So, because he was such a cool, dynamic guy. He could be really serious, but then he could be really funny within a flip of a switch,
Yeah.
So he was pointing, not saying anything for about a minute, he's like almost 80 years old at this time,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, forget I even asked. I started putting it down, and he's like, no, Frankie, no, go get the other SG. It's in the bedroom. It sounds way better than that piece of junk. There's a really great one in the bedroom. Go grab that one and take that one. I'm like, really? All right. So I went in there and I searched through the bedroom there where the guitars were, and I grabbed this one. And he was so right. This guitar weighs like a feather. And if you can see the back of it, it says Dickie Betts prototype number
Oh,
one.
wow.
This was the
Wow.
first one that Gibson made for him, called a Brother to Brother SG reissue. And it's
Wow.
designed after the one that he gave Dwayne Allman back in 1970 or something like that. And it sounds and feels and plays better than that, definitely better than the one that I was asking him to borrow. So it was so cool, man. It meant the world to me that he thought enough of me to not let me go out of the house with the log and go get the nice one. So I borrowed it,
so cool.
and he just said, now make sure nothing happens to it. I said, I'll guard it with my life. And he said, no, don't do that. Not with your life, but just make sure nothing happens to it. So I ended up using it a lot, and I took it on the road with his son, Dwayne Betts, which, by the way, I'm doing a Horseshoe Music Festival with Dwayne Betts September 12th and 13th in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I just wanted to throw that plug out there.
Yeah. Wow.
But Dwayne and Devin Allman did a Allman Betts family reunion revival, and I was using this guitar on that tour a few years later after Dickie let me borrow it. And now Dickie was sharp as a whip, man. He was sharp as a tack. And he came to that show on his 80th birthday, and he saw me playing this guitar, and he's like, he's like, come over here. And he whispers in my ear, is that the SG that I let you borrow a couple years ago? And I said, yes, sir, it is. I've been guarding it with my life. And he said, good. I'm glad you're still using it, and feel free to keep playing it and using it for as long as you want. And that just felt really good. And so I'm still borrowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
it's on my video for a song called One More Time, which is one of my singles from the Reflection album. It's a slide number, because SGs are really great for slide guitar playing. For some reason, they just sound. That's why Derek Trucks and Dickie and Dwayne Allman always use an SG for slide.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. They just have the tone, the neck, the shape of the neck.
Yeah.
Really works great for slide, bottleneck slide guitar.
So cool.
In that relationship with Dickie, did he ever slip you kind of the secret to being a great guitarist, to being a great musician? Was there some little like, come here, it's all about this? Was there any passing along secrets?
Yeah, there was moments, we spent a lot of time hanging out, not really playing guitar, but just kind of talking and hanging out and watching TV. And then all of a sudden we'd start having a conversation about things. And there was a couple of things. When I first met him 24 years ago, we were hanging out in a hotel room in Las Vegas, and he was going through a rough time leaving the Allman Brothers. And he told me, he goes, man, what I've learned is you got to keep on swinging. You just got to get back up. You're going to get knocked down in this business. He goes, disco knocked us down, the disco era of the 70s. The Allman Brothers had broken up and off and on over so many times, hardships, his friends getting killed and motorcycle accidents and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he just said to me, he's like, you just got to get back up and keep swinging. He was quoting Rocky Marciano, a boxer, that I guess that was one of his quotes.
Mm-hmm.
And then down the road later, one of the things he told me was he had suggested that I tried to focus on singing, adding my own singing to writing songs, which inspired me to do an album that I did called Gypsy Highway. It's a storytelling album where I'm writing songs that are singer-songwriter kind of stuff. But then the other last thing I'll say, one of the third things that I listened to him speaking about was, and this touches on what we talked about earlier, most guitar players that he's played with, and he's played with tons of them. He's jammed with Brian Setzer. He's jammed with, a lot of great ones. Most guitar players don't listen to what they're playing. They usually just are more caught up in playing fast and how much ability they can show off on their licks, but they're not really taking the time to listen to what they play. And it's so true. If you do that as a guitarist, if you listen and before you play or when you play, and then you listen to what you're playing, listening is as important as how fast your fingers can move, if not more. And it's a common mistake that we make sometimes. Even when we're talking, like me, I'm just sitting here rambling rather than listening to you. You talk, man. It's your turn.
Well, I was going to
we
say,
want to listen to, but we're listening to you.
I was going
So
to
we're
say,
listening, as long as somebody's listening.
I get embarrassed because I know I can just ramble sometime.
Well, I was going to
No,
say,
you're not
this is
rambling at all.
the perfect chance to sort of say, your record is all instrumental. We've got you here. You have a guitar. Would you mind playing a little something as we wrap up?
I can play you something that's not even released yet. This is going to be my new instrumental I just wrote. How about that? Is that okay?
Please.
All right.
Stop asking permission.
This is a song that I'm working on for my next album, and I'll just go ahead and use the SG on it. I don't have a title for this one, except I do have a background. My mom married a Mexican guy, and I grew up in a Mexican family as a young kid. My family, and so I know very little Spanish. But this one's called Mi Corazón, which means my heart. Okay, so that's the tentative title for this one.
Reflections by Frank Hannon is available right now wherever you get your music. For copies on CD and vinyl, you can get them directly from Frank, frankhannon.com.